twin suns hung low over Haven. For a peaceful human colony at the edge of Council space. Children ran to the open park, laughing as they chased small drones that floated like balloons. Among them was Mira Hale, a quiet 9-year-old girl with bright eyes and a wooden starship she carried everywhere. She carved it with her father, and she believed it brought her luck. On this day, the park was full because a Galactic Council inspection ship had landed nearby. Aliens of different shapes walked the colony streets, checking for security risks. Humans were used to such visits, though they never liked how the Council soldiers walked with cold, stiff movements, always holding their glowing staffs. Mira watched the tall aliens with curiosity. She had seen them in school videos, but this was the first time she had been so close. Her teacher said they were here to keep peace. They wore polished armor and spoke in short, sharp words. Mira thought they looked strange but interesting. A council officer stepped into park, scanning the area with a device that hummed loudly. Several children moved back. Mira stepped forward. She was not afraid. She lifted her wooden starship and smiled, trying to show it to the officer. At that moment, everything changed. A loud shout came from another alien soldier. He pointed at Mira as if she were a threat. Before the humans nearby could react, the first officer grabbed Mira roughly by the shoulder and shoved her aside. She fell hard, dropping her wooden ship. The soldier's armor clattered as he tried to regain balance. The second officer panicked. He raised his weapon and fired. A single, sharp flash. A single, terrible scream. And then silence. Mira lay still on the ground. Her wooden starship rolled until it hit a small rock and stopped. For a moment, no one moved. The humans stared in shock. The aliens stared in fear of what they had done. No one believed what they had just seen. Then shouts began. Adults ran toward Mira. Someone screamed for a medic. Someone else shouted to stop the officers. But the alien soldiers backed away quickly, activating a force shield around themselves. The council officers shouted something about self-defense, but their voices shook. They knew they had made a terrible mistake. The entire event was captured by colony cameras and by dozens of personal recorders. The footage spread across the network in seconds. Within 15 minutes, the video reached Earth. And then something happened that frightened even the bravest humans. Earth went silent. Not one government official spoke. Not one news channel released a statement. Not one military unit moved. It felt like the entire planet had stopped breathing. Far away on Haven, for the alien officers were escorted back to their ship under heavy council guard. They did not apologize. They did not look back. They simply left. But every alien on the colony felt the tension growing, like a storm they could not escape. 3 hours later, the Galactic Council received a message from Earth. Just one sentence. Return the killers within 24 hours, or we awaken the Forbidden Fleet. The Council laughed. Humans were emotional creatures. They said they would calm down. They always did. But then strange things began happening around Earth. Massive energy readings appeared near the North and South poles. Old satellites activated that had been dead for centuries. Military scanners in nearby star systems picked up gravitational pulses that no one could identify. Alien scientists argued among themselves. Alien admirals felt cold dread. Something ancient was waking, and the galaxy had no idea. The Galactic Council headquarters floated above a blue-white gas giant, shining like a giant glass ring. From far away, it looked peaceful, but inside its meeting hall, fear spread like fire. Delegates from 42 alien species sat around a wide circular chamber. Their voices rose and fell, some calm, some shaking with worry. The air smelled of tension, warm metal, and fear. The message from Earth repeated on a large screen above them. Return the killers within 24 hours, or we awaken the Forbidden Fleet. Some aliens believed it was only human anger. Others felt something darker behind the words. A tall, thin alien with bright red eyes slammed his hand on the table. They threaten us because of one child, one accident. Across the chamber, a reptile-like general hissed. It was not an accident. The footage is clear. Their soldier fired without reason. The council chair, a calm, silver-skinned creature named Velos, raised his hands. We cannot surrender our own officers. It would show weakness. Another delegate whispered loudly, "Weakness is better than extinction." The room turned silent. Extinction? That word felt too heavy, too dramatic. But rumors had already begun spreading across star systems. Ancient stories, old warnings, dark myths that some elders once shared in secret. Stories about old Earth, long before humans joined the council, before they shared technology or opened trade routes. Earth had lived alone in the dark. They had built weapons for enemies that never came. Ships meant to fight impossible wars. Tools made to survive gods or monsters. Most aliens believed these were only human legends. But now, something on Earth was waking up, and those legends did not feel like stories anymore. Across the galaxy, in a small research station orbiting a white dwarf star, 3 alien scientists stared at their monitors with wide eyes. The sensors picked up a massive spike of energy from Earth. Not normal energy. It was old, strange, heavy, the kind of power that bent gravity around itself. "Is that human?" one scientist whispered. His colleague nodded slowly. "This signature is more than 2,000 years old. It matches the files labeled Do Not Study." They shared a look of fear. Those files were locked for a reason. Back at the council, panic grew. Dozens of communication feeds came from ordinary citizens across the galaxy. Aliens were afraid. They demanded the council take responsibility. They did not want war with Earth. "This is ridiculous," Velos said, trying to calm them. "Humans are emotional. They will cool down." But an elder delegate from the amphibian race shook his head. "I fought humans long ago, before they joined the council," he said quietly. "I saw their old war machines. I saw their strategies. They do not cool down. They endure. They wait. And when they strike with everything." The hall fell quiet. The elder continued, "Send back their child's killers. End this now, before we face something none of us can stop." Some nodded, some refused. Meanwhile, on Earth, the silence continued. No messages, no diplomats, no signals, just waiting. But in hidden places, things were moving. Deep under Antarctica, giant doors made of black metal glowed with ancient light. Machines the size of mountains shook off centuries of ice and dust. Their engines hummed with low, deep energy, the kind that made sensors fail and metal twist. Alien listening posts near Earth began failing one by one. Some overheated, some exploded, some simply shut down, like something had whispered to them to sleep. In the dark command centers of human military bases, old holograms lit up. Symbols no one had seen before appeared on screens. Old Earth codes written in forgotten languages. A single human general stood in front of a silent room full of officers. "It has started," she said. No one argued. No one questioned. Humanity knew what they were about to wake, and they accepted it. On the council station, Velos finally made a decision. "We will send a message to Earth," he announced. "We request discussion." The message was sent. 5 seconds later, the reply came. 22 hours left. A cold shiver spread through the chamber. Humans were not negotiating. Humans were counting. As time passed, more signs appeared across the galaxy. A transport ship near the human border reported seeing a formation of giant black shapes rising from Earth's oceans. An exploration probe caught a glimpse of something launching from under the Pacific. Something too fast to track. A mining station at the edge of Sol System sent one last message before disappearing from sensors. Something is moving below the ice, thousands of them, and then silence. Real fear now touched even the bravest alien soldiers. The council chair finally spoke the words he had been avoiding. What if the Forbidden Fleet is real? No one answered. Everyone already knew. Meanwhile, in a small home on Haven, for Mirahale's parents sat with empty eyes, holding their daughter's wooden starship. The colony streets outside were quiet. No children laughed there now. No one walked near the place where she fell. Her father whispered, "They took everything from us." Her mother said nothing. Tears fell onto the wooden toy. The galaxy had taken a child. But Earth was preparing to answer, and the answer would shake every star. The first warning came quietly, almost like a whisper across the stars. Satellites orbiting Earth began to fail. Communications from Council ships near the Sol system suddenly went dark. The few signals that remained showed nothing but empty space where planets and moons had been clearly visible moments before. And then, in orbit over the Arctic Circle, something massive stirred beneath the ice. Slowly, enormous black shapes broke through centuries of frozen silence. Their surfaces were smooth, angular, almost living, but without light or markings that alien sensors could read. These were the ships of the Forbidden Fleet. On Haven, 4 alien traders and scientists noticed strange readings. Gravitational distortions, electromagnetic anomalies, and high-energy pulses were growing stronger with every hour. Reports of unusual sightings flooded in. One trader whispered nervously to his companion, "They're not just ships. They're alive, I think. Their movements are too precise, too perfect." Across the galaxy, fear spread like wildfire. Even the most hardened admirals and council generals felt something cold and ancient pressing against their nerves. They had never seen human weapons as terrifying. Deep under Earth's oceans, giant hangar doors slid open. In the dark, massive shapes slowly lifted from their resting places. Each ship was bigger than a city, yet they moved with deadly grace. Their engines pulsed with energy that bent light around them, leaving no warp trail. The humans called them the Silent Armada. Command centers on Earth were alive with activity, but the humans working there spoke calmly. No one panicked. They were not afraid. A general, tall and gray-haired, stood on the main deck of the command center, watching multiple feeds. "They will know fear soon enough," she said. Her words were not loud, but they carried across Earth's networks and into every human base in orbit. Every officer nodded in understanding. Meanwhile, the Galactic Council convened an emergency meeting. Velos, the council chair, stood at the center of the chamber. His silver skin reflected the cold lights above. "They are moving. The humans are waking their fleet." The room erupted in alarmed voices. Delegates shouted over one another, arguing about what should be done. Some urged immediate retaliation. Others whispered about retreat. An elder amphibian delegate, the one who had warned them earlier, spoke again. "Do you understand what you are facing? Those ships are from the time when humans expected no one in the galaxy to survive them. They are ancient and they are unstoppable." Several young generals laughed nervously. They thought he exaggerated. But deep inside, they felt the truth in his words. On Earth, the first wave of ships rose from the Atlantic Ocean. Each vessel unfolded slowly, revealing weapon turrets, engines, and strange geometric patterns. The ships emitted a low hum, not sound as humans or aliens understood it, but vibration that could be felt in the bones. Council scouts attempted to approach, scanning the fleet with every sensor available. All instruments failed. Radiation, gravitation, and energy readings fluctuated wildly, beyond anything previously recorded. One scout reported, "They do not appear on any spectrum. They are ghosts and predators at the same time." And then the fleet began to move, slowly at first, then faster, forming a formation that covered the horizon. From orbiting observation satellites, humans watched silently. No alarm, no chatter, just focus. The Council sent a fleet of warships to intercept the first wave. Their leaders believed that their weapons and shields would be enough. They were wrong. As the Council ships entered human territory, the first energy beam struck. They did not explode in fire or heat. Instead, the Council vessels were sliced apart at the molecular level. Not a single ship survived intact. The sensors of nearby ships overloaded, showing only the space where the ships had been. Panic swept through the Council ranks. Experienced admirals had never seen anything like it. The humans did not shoot blindly. They moved with precision. They attacked only military targets, not civilians, not colonies, only those responsible for killing a child. And they did it calmly, methodically. On Earth, Mira Hale's parents watched the fleet status from a secure command station. Her mother clutched a wooden starship, holding it close. "They will remember her," she whispered. "They will all remember. Her father nodded. It's not about killing them. It's about teaching them. Teaching them that children are sacred. Humans had waited centuries for this moment. Not for revenge, not for power, but for justice. The council convened again. Velo's voice shook. They destroyed 3 fleets in seconds. What we do now? No one answered. Fear had taken hold. And in the farthest reaches of known space, alien spies whispered of a terrifying truth. The humans were not done. The Forbidden Fleet had only begun to rise. The galaxy was about to see the full power of old Earth. The silence that followed Earth's warning ended suddenly with sound that no one in the galaxy had ever heard. The low, heavy hum of thousands of engines moving as one. The Forbidden Fleet spread out across the solar system, dark shadows against the glow of the sun. Their black holes absorbed light as though the stars themselves feared them. From the command center in orbit, humans watched the council fleets move into position. They did not panic. They did not shout. They only observed and waited. On the council side, admirals barked orders, their voices trembling. Target their sensors. Fire everything. The weapons roared across space. Energy beams, missiles, and plasma strikes raced toward the approaching human ships. And failed. The first council ship to be struck vanished before impact. Its energy shields, designed to withstand stellar blasts, were shredded as though they had never existed. Sensors showed only empty space where the massive cruiser had floated seconds before. Panic erupted. Council fleets scrambled in every direction. Some ships collided. Others fired blindly at nothing. The humans had planned this perfectly. They do not fight like any other species, a reptilian general hissed. Their movements, their strikes, they are already inside our minds. On Earth, the humans were calm. Operators at consoles monitored dozens of battle feeds simultaneously. Ships moved like chess pieces across the board, striking the council with surgical precision. Not a single civilian station, colony, or neutral planet was harmed. This was not war. This was justice. Deep in the human command center, the general who had led the awakening of the fleet stood in front of a massive screen. On it, the first council military installation fell to human fire. A massive orbital station erupted into a cloud of dust and debris, its energy cores collapsing into themselves. They will know the cost of killing a child, she said. A young officer nodded. The council fleets are breaking apart. They can't understand our weapons or our strategy. The human general glanced at the screens again. They will learn soon enough. Every action has a consequence. In the council chambers, chaos reigned. Velos and his top advisors shouted over each other. Call for retreat. Evacuate. Send envoys. But it was too late. Every council fleet engaged in the fight was being destroyed faster than they could react. Their sensors failed to read the human ships. Their weapons could not harm them. Their shields, the most advanced in the galaxy, were meaningless. The humans had adapted. They had studied every tactic, every countermeasure, and had built ships capable of ignoring all defenses. Council soldiers across multiple systems watched in terror as their leaders were systematically defeated. They had trained for decades, some for centuries, yet nothing could stop the human fleet. Ships that had once been symbols of power and control were erased in seconds. Yet, through it all, the humans never fired indiscriminately. Every strike was precise, every target carefully chosen. They did not revel in destruction. They delivered calculated justice. On a distant colony, an alien child watched the skies. He had only heard stories of humans. Now he saw them, dark, massive ships moving like predators. And he felt fear, yes, but also awe. Humans, he realized, were not to be underestimated. Meanwhile, Earth transmitted a single message to the galaxy. This is not war. This is justice. Return the killers of Mirahale. Nothing else will stop us. The word spread through every system, every fleet, every corner of council space. Even neutral species listened, afraid. Some council leaders tried to negotiate. We will return the killers, they shouted. But no one could find them. They were hidden, and the humans were not in a hurry. Back on Earth, Mirahale's parents stood in silence. Her father held her wooden starship tightly. They will pay attention now, he whispered. They will understand that our children are not theirs to harm. Her mother nodded. We only wanted justice. Nothing more. In orbit, the human general watched the battle unfold. Every strike, every movement, every action had been carefully planned centuries ago, waiting for this very moment. The Silent Armada had begun its campaign, not to conquer, but to teach the galaxy a lesson it would never forget. The Council fleets began to retreat, but the humans did not pursue unnecessarily. They only pressed forward toward their real target, the hidden enforcers who had killed Mirahale. Across the stars, whispers spread among alien species. Do not harm a human child. Do not provoke old Earth. Do not make them angry again. It was clear humanity had returned to the galaxy not as a weak member, not as a colony, not as a minor species, but as the most feared and respected force ever known. The galaxy will remember this day forever. The galaxy had never seen humans like this. Ships that had been built to survive centuries of war fell before them. Fleets that had once inspired fear now fled in panic. Yet even as the Council struggled to survive, the humans did not stop. Their mission had shifted. It was no longer just about demonstrating power. It was about justice. And their target was clear. The enforcers who had killed Mirahale. On a small, barren moon at the edge of Council territory, the first of the guilty enforcers hid. He was trembling. Every sensor around him was dead. Every communication link was scrambled. He had been trained to fight, to survive, to evade. But now nothing worked. A shadow fell across the landing bay. He looked up and saw it. A human scout ship hovering silently, impossible to detect until it was right above him. Its black hull reflected no light. Its presence alone sent a shiver down his spine. He ran, but the humans did not chase blindly. Their ships moved with intelligence, predicting every move, cutting off escape routes, isolating targets with surgical precision. Meanwhile, in orbit around a Council stronghold, the human general watched the hunt unfold. Screens lit up with real-time feeds from across the galaxy. Enforcers were being located one by one, their movements anticipated and neutralized. This one is in the outer asteroid belt, said an officer. Another on Haven, 12. Another in the Nebula of Shadows. The general nodded. Do not harm civilians. Do not cause unnecessary destruction. Only the guilty will face justice. Her voice was calm, but her eyes burned with determination. On Haven, 12, the second enforcer tried to escape through the crowded city streets. Citizens panicked at the sudden arrival of the Silent Armada above them. Massive black ships hovered in formation, moving without a sound, their shadows swallowing entire blocks. The enforcer called for help, sending messages to the Council. No one responded. The humans were already closing in. A small transport ship appeared in the sky, almost invisible. It descended slowly, a single beam of light scanning the streets. The enforcer froze. He knew there was no way out. Back on Earth, Mirahale's parents watched the progress of the hunt. Her father's hands were tight around her wooden starship. They are finding them, he said softly. They will answer for what they did. Her mother nodded. It is time for the galaxy to learn the value of a child's life. The parents did not need to speak more. The humans operating the Forbidden Fleet understood. Every officer, every pilot, every general knew why this mission was so important. This was not vengeance. It was a principle. Life, especially innocent life, must be protected. In the Council chambers, desperation had reached a fever pitch. Some leaders pleaded for negotiations. Others tried to hide the enforcers, sending them to secret locations. But the humans anticipated every move. The amphibian elder, who had warned of old Earth's weapons before, whispered, "They are unstoppable. They will find the guilty. And when they do, the galaxy will change forever." No one laughed. No one argued. Fear had silenced the room. The final chase began near the Nebula of Shadows. The last enforcer ran through narrow asteroid fields, his ship weaving in impossible ways to avoid detection. But the human fleet moved as if it had eyes everywhere. Energy pulses scanned the nebula, revealing the hiding places of every ship, every shadow, every corner. Finally, The enforcer's ship was cornered. It was surrounded by massive black warships, silently hovering, immovable. The enforcer tried to fire, tried to escape. Nothing worked. A single beam extended from one of the human ships. It was not a weapon of destruction. It immobilized the ship instantly, freezing in place. The enforcer's eyes widened as he realized he could do nothing. A human officer appeared on the comm screen. Calm, controlled. You will answer for your actions. No one else will be harmed. The enforcer surrendered. And across the galaxy, the message was clear. No one can harm a human child and escape justice. The other enforcers, scattered across different systems, received the same treatment. Each was tracked, cornered, and captured without unnecessary loss of life. The humans had demonstrated something that no species in the galaxy had ever seen before: discipline combined with overwhelming power. Even the most cynical council leaders began to understand. This was not just about weapons or ships. This was about humanity itself. Their courage, their patience, their unwillingness to compromise on what was right. As the final enforcer was delivered to Earth, the Forbidden Fleet returned to orbit. Massive black ships moved silently back toward their hidden bunkers, their work complete for now. Mira Hale's parents watched from a secure observation point. Her father held her wooden starship close. "They will remember her name," he said. "They will remember what happens when you harm a child." Her mother nodded. "And they will never forget again." Across the galaxy, whispers began to spread. Do not harm a human child. Do not provoke old Earth. Justice is coming, and it is precise. And the galaxy realized, finally, that humanity was no longer just one species among many. Humanity had returned, ancient and unstoppable, with a lesson the universe would never forget. The galaxy had gone silent. No one dared to attack. No one dared to speak loudly. No one dared to hide the truth anymore. Because Earth had done something no one expected. They captured every enforcer alive. Now, the galaxy waited to see what humans would do next. A massive structure appeared in Earth's orbit. It was not a warship. It was a floating courtroom built from silver metal and transparent alloy. Light shined through it like a star. Thousands of camera drones floated around it, broadcasting to every corner of the galaxy. This was the Galactic Tribunal of Earth. Every species received the same message. The trial will be public. Justice for Mira Hale will be witnessed by all. For the first time in history, humans invited the entire galaxy to watch something deeply personal. And billions tuned in. Inside the tribunal, 7 judges sat in a semicircle. All were human. Their uniforms were simple black and white, with a single symbol over the chest, a small wooden starship, Myra's toy, carved into the badge. At the center of the courtroom stood the accused, the captured enforcers. They were restrained but not harmed. Their injuries had been treated. They were fed, hydrated, and kept alive. The humans wanted no cruelty, only justice. Myra's parents were seated at the front, quiet but strong. The father still held her wooden starship, his hands wrapped around it as if he was holding her memory. The room's silence deepened when the lead judge stood. He was old, with gray hair and calm eyes. He looked at the enforcers and then at the watching galaxy. His voice was steady. "Today," he said, "we judge not only the death of a human child, but also the value of life in this galaxy." The words echoed through thousands of systems. The first enforcer was brought forward. He stared at the floor, trembling. A human officer stepped aside and activated a hologram. The image showed the moment the enforcers arrived on Earth. The warning signals, the confusion, the child's fear, and the fatal shot. The galaxy watched in silence. Many species had heard rumors, but they had never seen the truth. Not like this. Not so clear. Some wept. Some grew angry. Some couldn't look. The judge turned to the enforcer. "You fired the weapon," he said. The enforcer nodded slowly. "Yes." His voice shook. "I was told humans were dangerous. I was told to be ready. I panicked. I made a mistake." The judge's stare did not change. A mistake cost the life of a child. The enforcer swallowed, unable to speak. The second enforcer was brought forward next. He tried to speak loud, defensive. We were ordered to take control of the zone. Humans resisted, he shouted. The judge tapped the screen. A second hologram appeared, showing humans helping, not fighting. People trying to calm the situation. Even Mira, stepping forward with her wooden toy starship, hoping to ease the tension. The galaxy gasped. The enforcer froze. We were wrong, he whispered. One by one, each enforcer was questioned. Each one confessed. Each one admitted fear, confusion, or blind obedience. But none of their words brought back Mirahale. When the last testimony ended, the judge turned to the galaxy. We are humans, he said. We have made mistakes too. We know fear. We know grief. But we also know responsibility. He looked at the enforcers. You will not be executed. You will not be tortured. Instead, your punishment will be the same sentence that every human child learns from their first school day. He paused. You will rebuild what was broken. A murmur spread across the galaxy. The sentence was explained. The enforcers would serve lifelong restorative duty. They would help rebuild the area they harmed. They would work with humans, under watch, to repair cities, systems, and trust. They would learn the value of the child they took. No violence. No revenge. Only accountability and service. This shocked the galaxy more than any weapon. Some species expected executions. Some expected torture. Some expected destruction. Instead, humans showed restraint, control, moral strength. Myra's mother stood slowly. She faced the galaxy's cameras. Her voice was soft but clear. My daughter loved building things, she said. She believed broken things can be fixed. So let them fix what they have broken. The courtroom fell silent. Even the enforcers lowered their heads. It was a kind of justice no one had expected. Compassionate yet firm. When the trial ended, the billions who watched felt something powerful. Respect, fear, and something deeper. Admiration. This was HFY justice, human justice, not based on power alone, not based on revenge, but on the belief that change is possible, even for those who did harm. The galaxy whispered new words now. Humans are dangerous, but not because of their guns, because of their hearts. And somewhere in a quiet room on Earth, Mirahale's wooden starship rested in her father's hands, a small reminder of the child who changed the galaxy. The galaxy was still trembling after the trial. Every news network, every political council, every military command center repeated the same words. Earth showed mercy, even when it did not have to. The message spread faster than any fleet. The silent armada had returned to its hidden vaults beneath Earth's surface, sealed away again under layers of ancient locks. The warships slept, but their shadows remained in the minds of every world leader. Earth had shown its strength, but Earth had also shown its heart. And that combination terrified the galaxy more than the weapons ever could. For the first time in decades, representatives from hundreds of species traveled to Earth willingly, not to warn, not to negotiate, but to learn. They wanted to understand these humans. What kind of people could build such powerful weapons and still choose mercy? What kind of species could suffer the loss of a child and still choose justice instead of destruction? The answer was simple. Humanity was different. On Earth, preparations were underway for something the world had never hosted before. The Galactic Remembrance Ceremony. Not for war, not for a treaty, not for politics, but for Mirahale, the little girl whose death changed everything. The ceremony would take place in a massive garden filled with sunlight, green trees, and a clear blue sky, the kind of peaceful scene Mira loved. Thousands gathered. Billions watched through screens. Even the enforcers, now working under supervision to rebuild the damaged cities, stopped to watch. And in the center of the garden was a small pedestal. On it rested a wooden starship. Myra's parents stood on the stage together. Her father held her hand-painted toy. Her mother kept her composure, though her eyes were soft with sorrow. The crowd silenced. A gentle breeze passed through the garden. Then Myra's mother spoke. My daughter believed the world was full of good, she said. She believed everyone could be better, no matter where they came from. And today, I see she was right. Her father stepped forward and placed a wooden starship onto the pedestal. We built fleets to protect ourselves, he said. But it was our daughter who showed us what truly protects a civilization: mercy, compassion, and justice. The entire garden bowed their heads. Even the war-hardened generals felt tears rising. On the edge of the gathering, General Aaron Sol, commander of the Forbidden Fleet, watched silently. She had unleashed the greatest power humanity possessed. She had led the hunt. She had stood ready to destroy anyone responsible. But she was also the first to agree to the trial, because Mira reminded her of her own daughter. A young officer approached her quietly. "General," he said, "the galaxy is asking for guidance. Many worlds want to create laws like ours. They ask how to stop tragedies like this in the future." Aaron Sol looked at the blue sky. "Tell them," she said softly, "to protect their children first. Everything else comes second." After the ceremony, something unexpected happened. A small group of alien children walked toward Myra's parents. Different species, different skin colors, different sizes. One stepped forward, a young alien with silver skin and bright blue eyes. She bowed her head. "We heard Myra's story," she said, her voice trembling. "We are sorry for what happened. We will carry her name into our schools. We will teach the little ones to be kind, like she was." Myra's mother knelt down and hugged the child gently. "Thank you," she whispered. And in that moment, the grief in her heart softened just a little. Later that night, the council assembled for an emergency broadcast. This time, they were not demanding. They were not threatening. They were not arrogant. They were humbled. The amphibian elder stepped forward and spoke with quiet honesty. "We were wrong about humans," he said. "We feared their power, but we should have feared their principles instead." He looked into the camera. "Earth, we asked to stand beside you, not as rulers, not as enemies, but as partners." Silence filled every corner of the galaxy. Would Earth accept? The human representative appeared on the screen, a simple diplomat from a small coastal town. He spoke calmly. "We will share our knowledge," he said. "We will share our values. But we will also expect something in return." The galaxy held its breath. Respect, protection of the innocent, and the promise that no child of any species will ever be harmed again. The transmission ended, and with it, a new age began. Years passed. The story of Mira Hale spread across star systems. Schools told it. Parents taught it. Leaders studied it. The galaxy changed. The Enforcer Corps was disbanded. New laws protected civilians across every world. Old rivalries softened. Enemies negotiated instead of fighting. And the Silent Armada slept peacefully, never needing to rise again. All because one child's life had shown the galaxy what humanity truly stood for. Not fear, not power, not destruction, but justice when it counted most. And mercy, even when it was hardest. In the new era that followed, planets spoke of it with reverence. They killed a human child, and Earth changed the galaxy with justice. And Mira Hale's wooden starship remained in the Museum of Remembrance, a reminder of the day a little girl helped unite the stars. How much danger was in